Hi guys, I've noticeably less hair in this video. I just said feck it. I was tired of having all the long hair. I was saying it in another video, but my brother said, "Oh, don't shave your beard. I'd be very disappointed in you if you do, because we're there thinking who could grow the thickest and the bushiest beard." But as you can see, I've trimmed it back because anyone ever get that issue where when you're eating breakfast cereal, especially, and the fucking milk just catches in there? Oh, I hate that. It's disgusting. So I said, nah, I'm not having that. I have to trim it back. And to be fair, Joe Rogan said something. He loves being bald because it's less hassle going into the barbers, making an awkward conversation with them. Um, yeah, might need to touch it up, but it's so freeing having no hair, I will say. So what I wanted to talk about today, while I have the sitting room to myself, so I don't have to go on the road and risk people hearing this absolute nutter talking shite. I wonder what, like, if anyone does hear me, I wonder what they think. They're probably like, oh, but fuck it. I'm not hurting anybody. So if you see me looking over, I recorded the Aston Villa Monaco game. Didn't know Champions League was back, but luckily I can watch everything. Have it set to record, so happy days. Monaco winning 1-0, we're 26 minutes in, FYI. I like Champions League, not really Premier League, but I was talking about something yesterday. I don't know. I always find it weird looking back at these videos, and you know, um, sometimes I upload them a week after I made them, which I know can be a bit weird, but the point still stands. I still feel the same way, and I still make all the same points. I was kind of thinking how I'd make a video talking about this subject, and I think it's definitely something worth talking about. Is if you see me looking over, don't mind. The point I was making is doctors being dismissive, right? So I'm gonna just pause it because I think making eye contact is important. Fuck it. Doctors being dismissive and just ignoring what you're going through. I'm seeing it with my mum and my brother, and it's really pissing me off. And I was talking about it in a video yesterday where I just basically said, I said I felt like I'm going to have a heart attack sometimes, and it's, oh, no, you're not, don't be ridiculous, and laughing at you and going, oh, what do you know, and all this stuff. And then asking, like, could antidepressants be fucking up my testosterone levels? And it's, oh, no, no, there's no effect. Now, I've looked at other studies and it says there could be some effect, like it's not necessarily a case where there's absolutely none. They don't know. And some studies have found yes, others have dismissed that. And everyone likes to make out like doctors are so far above the rest of us and they know it all and we know nothing. You know, don't worry, just go up to your doctor. First of all, they don't pry. They make you feel uncomfortable. They make you feel like there's not enough time. Even when you're paying good money, like I got sorted with a medical card and I fucking deserve it, like I'm going up and down to the doctor and I haven't got the money to pay for it anymore. And I applied, haven't got the means to pay for it. And thankfully, look, it was accepted, and I'm grateful that I do have it because it's so handy to have. And look, I'm sure there'll be more appointments in the future. But this is my genuine experience of going to the doctor, and I'm just going to talk about it because it's ridiculous. It really fucking is. So I've been with psychiatrists and psychologists and all that jazz, and that was free. That was the Lucena Clinic in Dublin when I was first diagnosed with autism. And first of all, my mum was just basically told put him on Ritalin so he won't be a bother to everybody else. When I was, very symptomatic with autism, meltdowns were a regular occurrence. Sensations were so uncomfortable. Sounds were too much. And I grew up in a stressful household, so it's only natural that I'm going to be an anxious wreck. You don't have to look very far to see that my family are extremely anxious people. They'll say they're not, but they are. They worry, they care what everybody else thinks, and they're absolutely warriors and anxious wrecks. And I'm like they'll deny it. And I used to just when you believe every word that your parents say, but having observed it and being older now, I know that's not the case. They're very nervous people, and they're always worried about, like, keeping up with the Joneses, what everybody else will think, and it does my fucking head in. But it gave me and my brother a lot of anxiety, and taking other people's words over ours. I kind of like, fucking be nice if you believed what I was saying or valued my own opinion. But look, that's neither here nor there. It led to a lot of anxiety, and that's why I was in and out of principal's offices. Got in trouble a lot. Um, had to go see these psychiatrists talk down to me like I was a fucking retard. I mean, technically I am. um, but yeah. So I had early dealings with them, and it was all Ritalin this, take all this medication. Oh, he's got all these problems. Then it was diagnosed me with OCD, ADHD, autism, of course, which stuck. That's not my official diagnosis is autism spectrum disorder and comorbid anxiety. There's no ADHD, there's no OCD, but they were certainly willing to put it down. They were putting fucking everything down. And I think to myself, that seems to be such a common occurrence. Give you loads of labels and diagnoses. I like saying diagnoses. It's a good Dublin word. I'm gonna get that added to the dictionary, the Dublinese dictionary. But that wasn't great. I was spoken down to. I was kind of there thinking, I don't know why I'm here. I don't care about what you're saying to me. I just want to get out of here. What kid wants to be sat in a room with big terms that he doesn't understand, being told what he can't do, not what he can do, all these different things that he's going to have trouble with, and then constantly told about medications? What fucking kid's going to want to sit and listen to that shit? And I fucking didn't. I just wanted to get out of there. Like, people used to say, "Oh, how can you be so well behaved here and not in public?" And I was like, "Because I don't want to be here." Can you not fucking see that? I was like, "I'll say whatever you want, just so that you say fuck it and let me out. I don't want to be here. So piss off and leave me alone." Um, I didn't find it very helpful. I'll just say it as it is. We think we've come a long way with autism, and in many ways we have, but I've found people are still well behind the times. They still think you're fucking Rain Man and all this shit, and you won't do this, you can't do that, and you're gonna be in a special school. That's what they would have had me in. You're not capable of dealing with any challenges in life. You will have different difficulties, but that doesn't mean that you can't do fucking anything. But should they'd have you sitting in a corner, rocking back and forth, chewing on fucking Valium if they had their way, so as you're not a burden to everybody else. Great, wonderful. And then, like, we go into teenage years, and then I'm still with the Lucena Clinic, but then we start getting to medication, Prozac, my first SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. I'm a 15-year-old. I'm not going to be checking all the labels of everything. My mom's working hard. I feel like doctors get a lot of a free pass. I'm just like, I'm not saying that it's not difficult. I don't know what it's like. I haven't done it, so I'm not going to say anything like that. But there's a duty of care, do no harm and all that jazz. They just basically give you a script and leave you off. They don't explain anything. They might even mention the label. I don't remember anyone telling me to read anything. They just said, "Here's what you're taking. This is what it is, and that's it. It's an antidepressant. Off you go now." Hopefully it'll help. My mum said it helped me sleep, but look, I had a lot of anxiety and maybe nervous energy, if you want to call it that, when I was younger. Prozac fucked me up in a lot of ways. My sex drive went through the fucking floor. It plummeted. And, like, without getting too crude, I went 3.5 months um without ejaculating. That's not normal. I don't care what anybody says. There might have been, like, I think, again, I say without getting too crude, there might have been like a wet dream or something, because I wasn't pulling the plum. So it's a funny subject, but I wasn't masturbating because I didn't have the sex drive, or it just didn't feel pleasurable, and that's the God's honest truth. Like, I know it's a funny subject, and I'm a bit of a simpleton when it comes to humour like that, but no, it's the God's honest truth. And when you're a young teenager, you're going off, you're meeting girls, and I was finally coming into my own when I wasn't coming, but You know what I mean? I found it extremely embarrassing because I was like, what if if I see a girl I like and we're about to have sex and I can't get it up? How fucking embarrassing is that? I just had like, I won't even say I thought that much into it. I just thought, oh, it'll be embarrassing. I just thought it was kind of normal at first, and then I realised when all the other lads were talking about it, they were like, "Oh no, sure, I wank every day and all this stuff, and I masturbate every day once at least, if not more." And I was like, "Oh, sure, I only have like they said I don't really do it." And then I got really into this, like semen retention they call it, where you no fap and all that stuff. That was something I got really into because I heard that it was good for boosting testosterone, and I was into exercising. Um, and there was a religious aspect to it too. As I said, I do believe in God and all that, and I kind of felt a bit of guilt and shame around it. But I also thought, okay, well, there's that guilt and shame, but it's also beneficial to me if I'm not, pulling myself off around the clock, and then the cock round the clock. Sounds like ever watch Bullseye, the darts show, in off the red, mind the black. There'd be a few jokes thrown in. There has to be. But no, look, it was extremely embarrassing. Um, I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I was too embarrassed. I was there thinking, what if I genuinely cannot perform as a teenager? And I was exercising like I was, but it was taking a lot out of me. Drinking lots of energy drinks, and that was not good. I was going to social events and my anxiety was through the fucking roof. It always has been. And I don't think they appreciated just how terrible it was. And it was, oh, we'll take these pills. No. You just, every time you have a problem, take medication. What fucking good is that? And especially in Dublin, I think it's terribly dealt with. We think, oh, this is Ireland, it can't possibly be that bad. It is that bad. Mental health services are shite. They really are. Down here in Wexford, like, they've been great. Like, we haven't lived here very long, and I mean, as you're an adult, it's harder to find services, and yet I've still got dialectical behavioural therapy, cognitive. Well, I've done cognitive behavioural therapy in Dublin. Um, when I finally got put on a course of it, but that took long enough. Compassion focused therapy down here in Wexford, two of the best, DBT and CFT, wonderful. Um, but man, it took its fucking time. Um, So I had all these negative side effects, right? And I was drinking alcohol as well because I'm going out socialising. They didn't appreciate, and they didn't seem to at all appreciate the fact that I was quite a loner when I was younger, and I was just exercising and going off with, my rugby team, my football team. I was boxing. I'd play football with two lads. That was it. That was literally it, and go off with my family, maybe get a dinner on Sunday. I was playing a game on Saturday. Usually played football on a Saturday, rugby on a Sunday. I was quite an active kid, like in fairness to me, like when I think back to it, and I stuck with sport after school, which a lot of people don't do. I saw like 1 in 5 kids drop out, even higher for women. But yeah, it's a worrying stat. But no, it's something that really worried me. Where I was like, look, I started really thinking my sport was getting affected, and then look, I'm not going to get into the details with the rugby trial. I talked about that before. A coach didn't help me out when he could have done. Really pissed me off, and I was there going, well, I'm not wasting the rest of my life trying to get professional in a sport if it's not going to happen. I'm not wasting a chance on, being, missing out on your teenage years. Because people talk to you about all the sacrifice and dedication that goes into sport. You gotta take it seriously and not show up to events all the time. You've got to train when people are off drinking. How many people though regret that and wish that they had gone off socialising because they didn't get anywhere? And I thought that. I was like, look, I want to go off socialising. Fuck this. I've never been invited to parties or stuff like that before. And they really didn't seem to get that into their head. Common sense and humanity doesn't come into it with doctors, I find. It's just, oh, here, take these. They're real matter of fact, not the fact that I haven't had any sort of social life and now all of a sudden I am. And I don't want to say no and turn down events. Because to be fair, if people invite you out and you don't go, that's on you. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going. Then alcohol cured my anxiety instantly, much more so than any fucking pills did. Um, and they didn't seem to get it. Like, look, I understand you shouldn't drink on antidepressants. I stand by that. But I was so miserable. I had no sense of self whatsoever. I was so gullible and easily influenced by people. I just thought everyone knew so much more than me. I haven't lived the life they have, so they know everything and I know nothing. If they tell me to do something, I'll go and do it because I want to live, I want to experience stuff. I was very vulnerable, extremely vulnerable, and I was certainly an at risk child, if you want to call it that. They didn't seem to see it that way. I got in trouble at school when I feel like I was obviously crying out for help. Like when I think and look back to it, I was clearly just crying out for help and nobody seemed to see it. Few, like my English teacher, Mr. Crown, love him. He's a great lad. Can't speak highly enough about him. And then Mr. Kelly, our rugby coach. Both of them are rugby coaches and two great guys. Can't speak highly enough of them. They were a great laugh. And on our graduation in school, we had we had Jaeger bombs together. They got me around. I was like, sound lads. So no, credit where it's due. Um, it was a different thing, where there were lads that I was kind of hanging around with, and they were like, "Look, I don't like the way they're speaking to you online," because one of them had an online account for the rugby team and sent us all friend requests, and then he was looking through Facebook posts, and he said to the lads, "No, that's not on the way you're speaking to him." Fair fucks to them for doing that. But talking to my brother as well about medications and stuff. Now me and him had different responses to highly stressful environments. So he withdrew, I went out and just went fucking apeshit. Got in trouble. He would have been more withdrawn, not going to school. I had water poured on me by my mum, and I wasn't as good at getting away with things as my brother was. For a big lad, he's very sweet and innocent. Gotta say it. He's a master at getting away with stuff. But I went into school and had to listen to lads giving me grief all the time because they were making jokes about me, with the whole the medication thing and not being able to perform. Yeah, that's right. Something did happen from that, you know. And that was annoying, I got frustrated, got into rows with people. Then eventually I said, oh, what's the fucking point? It's gonna happen anyway. It's all them against me. Just put your head down, get through school, don't get expelled, because then mum and dad will kick the living shit out of me if I get expelled. And it was always in the back of my mind, that I'll get expelled and then I'll get in big trouble, which I didn't, so fair fucks to me. But my brother went to Luchetta Clinic as well because he got really bad depression. And Jesus, they put him on every medication under the sun. Prozac, beta. They asked him if he wanted beta blockers. They gave him sertraline, which I've taken. Actually, did help for a large period, but that's because I was so bad. I wasn't exercising or doing much. Then I started again. But to say that I wasn't at on my previous level, understatement. I couldn't do fuck all really. Um, yeah, so they gave him Prozac, sertraline, Xanax, which I mean is a highly addictive drug, and it's a benzodiazepine, and it's meant to be one of the worst drugs to come off, like for the withdrawals. Get him hooked on that, brilliant. Get him hooked at a young age. That seems like a good idea. And the doctor asked him, did he want to take stuff? And you're like, did he want beta blockers? And you're like, he does not have the capability here. You have a duty of care to a young, vulnerable person. Like, for fuck's sake, where does that come into it? And then I decided to come off Prozac because it was making me feel horrific. And as I say, got lads laughing at me in school because we went on a night out and I couldn't get it up with the girls. So Yeah, that was fun. Imagine that. That's something lads will take the piss out of. Look, happens. Fuck it. It was kind of funny, some of it. Um, I remember before, like, they were slagging me, and I started giving out but laughing, and they were like, "See, even you find it funny." I was like, "Yeah, look, if you didn't laugh, you'd cry." So I said, "Fuck it, I'll laugh." But yeah, it was embarrassing. You become a laughing stock, you know. It was very funny though, in fairness. But it did get me down at the time. I just start drinking, every time I went out because I knew I was going to get slagged going out with lads from school. I knew they were going to slag me off about it. It was just a matter of when. So I just used to get shit faced, and then they'd have a laugh at me and say, "Oh, you're good crack, don't worry, it's all in good spirits." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, just give me more fucking drink." They used to give me weed and smokes and say, "Oh, we're only laughing." I was like, "Yeah, just give me more weed. I don't care." And it clearly now, looking back on it, I can see that it was drinking just to cope with all the shit that was getting said to me, or saying I was shit at rugby, or I was thick, or I was ugly, or it's really fucking everything. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it, because lads are dickheads there, and I certainly gave a few slaggings as well. Got rugby player of the year, so take that. But look, at the time it did really just get me down because I'm already an anxious wreck, and then I've got all this shit on top of it. I used to just basically get shit faced everywhere I went, and don't know how I still functioned. Well, barely did, but I went into the doctor's office basically crying, and rather than actually talking to me, and settling down with me, it was, "I'm putting you straight back on the Prozac." I said, "No, that makes me feel like shit. I'm not taking that again. I've gone off it and then gone back on it. I'm not taking that again." Because yeah, you can say I didn't do it right, but I was doing it right for a long period because I didn't really drink. And then it made me feel so bad that when I did drink, I was like, "Fuck, this stuff is great. Alcohol is way better than Prozac." And I've heard plenty of people say Prozac is shit. They don't like it. I fucking hated it. I wouldn't go back on it any time. I wouldn't go back on it if you paid me. So I put me on sertraline, and I'd heard like my brother took it before I did, and I was like, "Oh no, not that." But I went, "Ah, fuck it, look, we'll try something," and it did help. But at my worst, when you want to get back to some sort of quality of life, that's when it's bad. Like I was on 150 milligrams as well, which is a strong dose of it. Coming off it was tough, and again, it had the same impact. The little wee wee didn't work. But there was no talk to me. There was no nothing. There was just, "I'm putting you straight back on the Prozac." I could look up, "I'm depressed." I could type in how I'm feeling. "Oh, you're depressed. What's the treatment?" "Oh, Prozac. Sertraline." That's all doctors seem to do. It's very basic. And then, as I said before, I told them I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. "Oh, don't be ridiculous. You're not going to have a heart attack at your age." Maybe not. But as I said, there's a young fella on Ireland's Fittest Families who was 15 and died of a heart attack in his sleep. You're there going, "You can absolutely fucking die of a heart attack in your 20s. Like, what are you fucking talking about?" Look at Christian Eriksen. Look at the amount of footballers dropping dead on the field. Or not dropping dead, but like passing out or having a heart attack on the field. They're athletes. You can absolutely have a heart attack in your 20s. I don't buy that bollocks. It's really, I'm high and mighty. I know way more than you do. Just a level of arrogance that I don't like with them. So I went to see another doctor thinking maybe another one's a good idea. And as he said, I thought it could be a mood disorder. Thought there could be something up with my mood. So I looked at different people. They said, if you think you might have, say, bipolar disorder. I did think I had it because my mood can fluctuate a lot. So this fella, Polar Warriors, if you're ever looking for a good channel on bipolar disorder, check it out. And then Ushane, my mate that I had on this channel, um, some similarities are right. And now, as you say, I've been told that I have emotionally unstable personality traits or borderline personality traits. So that can be mood related, all right, yeah. Fucking hell, took long enough, didn't it? And I went into the doctor with all these symptoms, And I said, look, I've noticed a period, I've noticed fluctuation in mood, I've noticed patterns like, mood, periods of elation, then depression. He's like, I don't see why it's relevant you telling me what happened to you when you were 15 up to 18. I said, because I've looked at it and I've fucking done my own research because nobody is helping me out. And I said, look, I've done my own research. Nobody is helping me out. Nobody is giving me any advice. It's affecting my family. It's affecting my life. I can't cope with this anymore. So could you just please listen to me for a second? And then he finally went, okay, I understand. But then puts me on just another antidepressant. I was like, what fucking good is that? Lexapro, which I've come off it myself. I tried it, took 10 milligrams, cut out the alcohol. And look, I had a holiday where I went away and I did drink, yeah. So I came off 10 milligram. Said I'll go back on 5 when I come home because I'm not taking 10. It's too strong. Gives me a terrible headache. You know that eye headache? That's the only way I can describe it. Where your eyes just feel really tight. It's fucking horrible. I don't like it at all. To put it lightly, the diarrhea is horrific with it. The stomach cramps are horrendous. I've never experienced anything like it. It's not nice at all. It's like there's just a constant distended abdomen. I don't like it. My abdomen already feels a lot less tense, and I've only been off it for like 3 days now. Um, that doctor really annoyed me. I just thought to myself, are you fucking for real? Like, another fucking antidepressant? You haven't listened to anything I've told you. And he said, how do you think it makes me feel when I see that you're on a medication and you've come off it? And I was like, I don't really care how you feel, to be honest. I didn't say it like that, but it was kind of like, it's not really about you, it's about me. Like, I'm paying 60 quid for a session, 70 fucking now, but thankfully, medical guard, godsend. It's like, we're not here to talk about your feelings. You're here to help me, you know? Like, I'm not gonna make your life hard, but like, fucking help me out. I'm at my wit's end here. They just don't offer you much comfort at all, to be honest. And then let's talk about the physical stuff. So, got really sick in college. Now, it was obviously stress. It had to be. There's no other explanation. I'd get stressed out, and it usually happened around October, November, because you're doing an awful lot of studying in college, and you're wearing yourself out. So it's only natural that you will burn yourself out. Sorry, just gonna pause it for a second. Bear with me, guys. Just out in my kitchen because yeah, people are home. So the physical stuff. So used to get sick without fail, literally every winter period in college. So that'd be around October, November time. Because you're studying, I was trying to do Olympic weightlifting, which I took up and I thought it was great. It was really good. And besides, it was as heavy as it ever been. So I thought, look, there's no fitness required, so that's good. Um, so did that, enjoyed it, but it was like 6 a.m. in the morning, 7 a.m. So yeah, look, it was mornings have never been my friend. I don't really like them, but screw it. But I got sick and I decided I need to test something out. When you're not feeling right, you know your own body, but doctors again don't really seem to take that into account. So I was talking about my medication history with the doctor in college because at the time didn't have the medical card, so you could go to a college doctor. It was only like a tenner you had to pay. That was it. So that was handy enough. Much cheaper than going to your GP anyway. So I said, screw it, I'm in here now anyway. It saves me the hassle of having to trek all the way up to the other doctor, and saves me a lot of money. She basically goes, oh, well, I'll put you back on the antidepressant. I was like, no, it made me feel horrendous. That's why I came off it. Oh, well, if you can't sleep or you're having difficulty at night, I'll give you a sleeping tablet. And I think I said it before, but I was like, but my libido, my sex drive went way down. And she was like, oh, well, I'd be happy to prescribe you Viagra. And I said, I am 21, I'm not fucking taking Viagra. She said it may be up all night with the fucking Viagra with your big hard on. So I'll give you this large sleeping tablet. um, strong sleeping tablet or whatever. She didn't say the name of it, but she was discussing different types. There's one was Advil. There's Ambien as well. We were going through a list and I said, look, I said I don't want to go on one medication. You're putting me on three different medications and we have literally been here for 20 minutes. And I went back and forth seeing her as well. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had blood tests lost, right? And I don't like needles. It's not so much needles, but I don't like, not really the biggest fan of blood, you know. I'm a creature of contradictions because I love vampire movies and all. But if I'm getting my bloods done, I'll just kind of be like, yeah, do it there. And they're talking like she was taking it before and saying, "Oh, you've got lovely veins," and I was like, "Oh, please don't talk to me about that. Let's just chat about something general. You know, I can get it done, but I don't like looking at it. Some people do, not me. I know, no fucking way. Phlebotomy would not be my department, put it that way. But yeah, so it was a little doctor surgery where they operated out of, so you would get checked, but your tests would go there, and then you'd have to go in and discuss it with them. You know, little clinic, little clinic out in Tala. And I remember they never told me they were taking my cholesterol. So they never told me to fast. They never told me, right? I actually, and here's the funny part, right? So they never told me my cholesterol was high or anything like that. They never told me they were taking a test for it. And I went in for bloods having eaten that day and they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to do your cholesterol." And I said, "Well, I haven't fasted." And they said, "Oh, it shouldn't make any difference." I said, "But I've drank milk, which has fats in it, you know, which is what cholesterol essentially is." Fatty deposits, you know. And they were like, "Oh, it won't make any difference." And then I got the worst worded text I've ever gotten from a doctor's surgery. Um, your cholesterol is very high and your liver results are abnormal. Um, Now, there was a lot of spelling mistakes in there, but I worked it out. Abnormal. And I was like, what are they? So you've just made me absolutely shit myself. You haven't told me anything. You haven't given me any figures. You've just told me they're abnormal and your cholesterol is very high with like three V's. Very. And I remember thinking that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. So I went in for more blood tests again, got called back in, didn't have to pay for it because it was a checkup, a follow up, I should say. And I took it upon myself to fast because I said they're taking my cholesterol. I know that you have to fast before you get a cholesterol exam, at least 13 hours. So I chose to fast because I thought, look, these fuckwits are not doing anything here. So I fasted. They said, "Oh, you managed to fast, James, you must be starving." I said, "Well, sure, I'm getting my cholesterol taken. I have to fast. I haven't had milk or nothing or whatever, just water. Didn't have any coffee," which, yeah, definitely didn't help. But I got them done anyway. And guess what? My cholesterol was fine. Now, until I got that follow up appointment, the doctor and the surgery, and I was at my wit's end, so I was like, whatever fucking medication, fine, I'll take. They put me on a torvastatin. Now, my dad's on them, he's in his 50s. Statins are meant to be a killer, by the way. Lots of people recommend you don't take them because cholesterol rises when you're inflamed. Just FYI, if anyone's interested, when you're inflamed, cholesterol goes up to help with the inflammation. You know, that's what happens. If you're lowering that, then the inflammation doesn't get dealt with, and then you have to take steroids and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't want to be a walking bag of medication. How many dying, frail, elderly people do you see that have like 30 different tablets every day? If I get to that stage, I'd rather just be taken out to the field and shot. Fuck that. That's not living, that's existing. All my family members are real miserable, old and frail, and they take all these medications. And from what I can see, it's not doing them any good. But it's all yes sir, no sir to the doctor. Question your doctor. Do, because they don't fucking give you much hope. They haven't given me much. They've just given me every fucking drug under the sun. I said I'm not taking them anymore. Once the atorvastatin's up, I'm not taking it. I don't see what good it's doing. And lo and behold, when I take it upon myself to do a fasted test, now this is weeks after I've come off atorvastatin because it took so long to get the follow-up appointment, my cholesterol is absolutely fine. No issue whatsoever. Ridiculous, you know. But they convinced me, well, they didn't. I was kind of like, nah, look, I don't buy that at all, especially with the text. But I was certainly anxious, especially with the liver readings. I was like, oh, well, maybe that could be something. But kind of a waste of time, to be honest. At least I got it checked and everything was okay. But so much for the medical system, right? I'm just thinking of any more bitching to do about. No, that's kind of it. But oh well, yeah, actually. So one of the doctors in TUD took my blood pressure on my forearm, so along here. I was there saying, do you not need to put it around my bicep? Like, just let me tense for you there. I was like, does it not need to go around my fucking bicep? I've seen every other doctor do that. How are you going to get an accurate reading? And he was like, no, don't worry, it's fine. I think you need to go back to medical school. Like, I'm no doctor, but Jesus, I even know that. Just things like that, you know what I mean? It's flawed so much, and I can only speak for Ireland, but we do a piss poor job, and I don't come out of a doctor's surgery feeling any more confident. I'll say that, you know. I don't like the doctors over here. Now I go when I have to. Now that I have a medical card, you'll be seeing me every fucking day of the week with every ailment. But when you're a vulnerable person, you should not have to keep asking and checking up yourself with the doctors, you know. But you do. My mum's been passed around. She said her testosterone's something she's been researching because women of a certain age, you know, need to check up on their hormones. And doctors are like, oh, don't be ridiculous. And laughing at her basically, and you're like, no, that's a very fucking real thing. But they're just passing her off and laughing at her. My brother's test results as well have been lost. Doctors have just not been very clear with him. He's at his wit's end. He's gone to everyone he can. And they're looking up Dr. Google and asking him, like a psychiatrist saying to him, oh, you're just being lazy, why don't you just get a job and all this stuff. And he reported him, fair fucks to him for doing it, you know. I had a bit of an argument with the doctor, not that much of an argument, but it was like, he was staring at his phone, I was like, sorry, am I keeping you? Like, do you need to get that or something? And he was like, oh, no, it's fine. Same fella, you know, I knew exactly who he was talking about when he came out. Especially psychiatry, you're dealing with people who are very vulnerable. Like, have some fucking common decency. But they don't, you know. And then I finally opened up about symptoms of that I've been feeling, and then, oh, I think you have emotionally unstable personality traits. Why didn't you tell us this sooner? Because I don't have much confidence. Everybody just dismisses me every time I say anything. So why the fuck would I say it? I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. But look, I've got supports in place at least, and unfortunately you have to rely on yourself a lot because the doctors are not great. In my experience, they're not great. They don't fill me with a lot of confidence. They're very rude and dismissive. You end up arguing with them and you haven't got the energy half the time. But if you're not on the ball, they're certainly not. The amount of doctors that have asked me, oh, what were the results of your tests? You fucking sent me for them. Why don't you have them in front of you? Why do I have to do fucking everything? Why is the onus on me? I'm the fucking sick person here. You know, it just really gets on my tits. It really fucking does, you know. If you've ever had a negative experience with the doctor, if you're in Ireland especially, let me know what it is. Anywhere in the world, but I'd like to get as much opinions as possible, guys. So wherever you're in the world, let me know what your experience has been. Either physical symptoms, mental especially, because this is a mental health channel first and foremost, but just in general, what was your experience like? Did you find that they were quite dismissive? Were they good even? Maybe they were. You know, I've experienced good doctors as well, but Anybody ever watched that show, The Good Doctor? I can't stand it. Being autistic, I'm just like, oh my god, this is so cringy. What is sarcasm? I am the surgeon. He annoys me, Charlie Bucket. No, seen him in a few things, your man Freddie Highmore, and I like him, but The Good Doctor is so fucking cringy. I fucking hate that show. It's actually a good comedy, because it makes me laugh, but we're not all fucking like that, people on the autism spectrum. Just FYI, we are not like him. I think it's a very cringy and inaccurate representation. But look, before that's another rant for another day. So without further ado, I will see you in the next one, guys. And leave your comments in. Let me know what your experience has been like with doctors, either mental or physical, whatever. Half the doctors in Ireland, I reckon, are fucking mental themselves. But sure, look, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.